If you are new to photogrammetry and you're just starting out, there are some tools you really should invest in. And some of them work even if you just have a normal phone or some really beefy setup like this here. So make sure to watch the video to the end. Jesus, that's heavy. So I wrote down the 5 most important tools I think everybody should use. In no specific order, obviously a color checker. A color checker is always useful. How does that one work? Well, there are a few methods on how to use it. Most of the time you create a color checker profile with the software, and then you pick one of the white balances from this row below, or you can use the gray cards. And I'm always using the Calibrate Color Checker or Passport Photo 2, fancy name. It's a bit more expensive, but it comes in this really nice plastic case and is well protected. Something other useful from my favorite German company, Takeaway, is a scale bar. Why is a scale bar useful? Because if you scan like trees or walls or whatever you want to scan with your phone or with your camera, most of the time the problem is the scale. Let me demonstrate how that looks. So here we have one of my scans. And if we look really closely, we can see a little line here. If I click this point, I can see the name of this point. And for every point, if I click it, I have highlighted images. And if I click one of the images, I can see, well, here it's a little bit tricky, but you can see the color checker in it. So because the color checker has a defined distance, it's really easy to tell the software how big everything is in relation to the real world. So I always have the perfect measurements. You can print and build your own color checkers, but these are so cheap, I would just order them. Next on the list is something really fancy, dough. So if you are scanning textures, maybe a wall, maybe some brick texture on the ground, you want to have a fixed area you scan. Most of the time it's 2 by 2 meters, 4 by 4 meters, and also you add some extra area just to be safe, normally about 50 centimeters, 30 centimeters. And for that, I just use some dough. I make it into little balls and then put it on the ground to just mark the area I want to scan. Later on, I can just replace it in Substance Designer or whatever software I'm using for making the texture tileable and just paint it out. Putting this dough on the wall or on the floor, I already know how the pattern will look when I scan it. And I know the area I need to scan, so I don't overshoot with like 200 images too much. So I always have the perfect amount of images and can plan ahead on how the pattern will look. By the way, the dough method and the scale markers obviously work with your phone, so you don't need like fancy gear. Same for the color checker, because that's all happening in Lightroom. For the next one, we need a flash. This little polarizer is working with the most common flashes, like the Godox Wistro RF400. That's the flash basically everyone has. And these are basically copies of that Relimax Pro HS400. Also Takeaway. And this is a magnetic mount, which you can put in front of your flash to polarize your images by just rotating the filter. So you can basically turn the effect on and off. Obviously, you can build your own, but for 120 euros, I mean, it depends on how much money you get per hour, but it wouldn't make sense to build it yourself for that amount of money. It's really strong, really durable. I have mine for a year now. I can't say anything bad about it. It works perfectly. Yeah, really good engineering, 3D printed. Makes absolutely sense to invest the money if you are serious about photogrammetry. And if you really want to take it to the next level, I would invest in a wing flash handle kits. And here you can basically define the trigger you want. So Sony, Canon, different Nikon. And that's basically the button you get here. And the kit is a left handle, a right handle, and some attachments. So you can adjust it. You also can use the trigger here, or you can shift it to a different position. And here you have a compatibility list of the camera models. It's basically supporting everything on the market right now. And here you can see the different triggers, or not the different triggers, but the cables you need. So all really detailed, so you will get the right cable when ordering. Why is that useful? Well, because if you just shoot with the flash and you have your camera in there, it's not really handy anymore. And with these gripped handles, it's way easier to hold the flash and the camera and trigger everything. So you don't have like an awkward hand posture all the time, and your hand will hurt after scanning like 5 assets. Really a really useful add-on. Also, you can buy it with the polarizing filter I showed you before, or without the polarizing filter. I think in a bundle it's cheaper. Right now the R400 is sold out. And if you now want to learn photogrammetry and maybe you are just want to start with the phone, make sure to click the link in the description. Also, if you're interested in learning how this polarizing works and why it's such a game changer, make sure to check out this video here.